We're here today with career-long Informs member Ann Robinson, who is the Chief Strategy Officer at Kinaxis. She has a long Informs history, but to name a few, you served as the 2013 Informs president, you helped spearhead the creation of Analytics Magazine, served on the Informs Roundtable, a newly minted Informs Fellow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I see your pin. I love it. She has also been awarded the Kimball Medal and served on both the Edelman Award and George D. Smith Prize committees. So that's not even all of it, but thank you for sitting down with me today. We want to discuss mentorship and the power of professional societies, and specifically how to find mentors within the Informs community. As some know, and you probably know, we do have the Informs Mentor Match program that members can sign up for either to become a mentor or become a mentee, and then that match is made after a short questionnaire, but we are not here to talk about that offering. Today we're interested in perhaps the more unexpected places that you might find a mentor and other impactful, long-lasting relationships here at Informs. So again, thank you for joining me in my long-winded intro. Let's just start with a quick refresher on how you discovered Informs, when you became a member, and your first truly impactful Informs experience.
Yeah, no, thanks, and thanks for having me. This is a really important conversation, and one I'm pretty passionate about. I guess, I moved from Canada to the States. I had been a CORS, a Canadian OR Society member, and actually attended the joint Informs CORS meeting in Montreal and kind of was exposed to Informs. So when I started my graduate career at Stanford, I naturally thought, okay, this is where I want to become a member and to get to know people, but without really knowing what I was getting myself into. I had seen the value of student chapters, and we sort of resurrected the Stanford student chapter as a mechanism for getting back into the bigger community. And, I think every interaction was meaningful. Even as a student, getting to know other students who had a common interest was a great reason. Attending my first, that CORS Informs meeting in Montreal, I got to talk to academics about topics that I was interested as I started down my PhD path. And then, having the opportunity to attend an Informs meeting as a student was a really eye-opening experience for me.
Did you become a member after that meeting?
No, I think you're going to have to check me on that. I'm not exactly sure. I was probably a student member because of the things I did also was an editor for the ORMS Tomorrow once upon a time.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go.
Awesome. Okay, now let's talk mentors. You've noted to me before that Informs has helped you, quote, stand on the shoulder of giants. I love that. So tell me what you meant by that.
Yeah, so I was always focused on becoming a practitioner coming out of this profession. A lot of chemistry has its chemistry lab. Industrial engineering industry is a lab for operations research. That's where we get to make sure this stuff actually works. So I'd had my eye on that, but going through a doctoral program, particularly when I did, thank goodness things have changed, but when I did, it was sort of frowned upon to consider the practitioner path as your first choice.
Interesting.
And I was a little uncomfortable, I was going through a good program, and I was putting in all of this effort and almost second-guessing the career path that I at least considered for myself.
Right.
And I had the opportunity to attend an Informs meeting as more of a, in the latter part of my graduate program. I had been before, but this was particularly with a focus on that, and had the opportunity to meet other practitioners really at different stages along their own career paths. Whether somebody was, a practitioner of operations research at an organization, or somebody managing a team, all the way to somebody who was CEO of an operations research consulting company. Yeah. And I thought, wow, here are people at the various stages on a career path I would, wish to have. Having the opportunity to meet with them, learn with them, gave me this reassurance that, yes, this is the right direction for me. How I was going to get there, that was a different question, but at least that I'd taken the right step.
Okay. So Informs really helped you solidify your career choice?
Absolutely.
So throughout your Informs membership and your time serving on the roundtable, you didn't just find one mentor to help guide your career. You found several. So talk about why this is important, having either one versus many, and then the specific areas on which you found guidance and support.
I think people get hung up on this idea that you have one mentor to guide you, and how crazy is that? Really, our own vision of success is generally a collection of traits across a bunch of different people, or several. They might be, world leaders, they might be imaginary characters from TV. I mean, it comes from a lot of different sources. So how can we expect one person to really fulfill the role of mentor? And people have different strengths. Somebody could be a really great orator and communicator, or somebody could be a really great people leader, or someone could just be great at navigating the politics of an organization. And recognizing that different people can help guide you and strengthen you on different parts of your career path really helps you have the richer experience. Now it's on you. It's on you to find. Nobody's going to come out and say, "Hi, can I be your mentor?" I mean, I love the mentor match program, but that's only the first step. There has to be a relationship that's formed. It has to click. And I was really lucky. Russ Labe, who was at Bank of America, I think he retired from Bank of America, he helped me figure out when I was a junior manager how to instill soft skills in my team, and kind of recommended some training and a different way of looking at things, and how to reinforce to these people that this was a necessary skill set. And then my own leadership journey, I learned a lot from Jack Levis of UPS, who I know you know. And Jack kind of, as we worked with the Inform staff and with other members on the Inform's board, kind of said, well, maybe you should have approached it like this, then like that, and some really solid lessons in leadership. At the same time, I wanted to make sure I was learning and staying on top of the profession. And, it's not always people who have been there, done that. Yeah. Oftentimes, you can learn from people who are learning it now, right? The idea of reverse mentoring is also one of my favorites, right? Where you can actually sit down and learn those latest techniques from that recent PhD graduate, because they've just done it and they know what's happening now. So really, this mentorship can happen both ways. And it's the combination of all of those that can really help elevate you to the role, direction, whether it's career or just life position you want to be in.
Yeah. So what advice would you have for early career professionals, maybe some students, for navigating Inform's offerings?
Yeah, I think the one piece almost before that is that these days, particularly in the practice side versus necessarily the academic side, I'm in supply chain. In supply chain, we're seeing an average of maybe 2 to 3 years in a position, or maybe even with a company. So it's not like these years gone by where you might spend 25 years in one company, and as a result, people around you are following your career, they're seeing what you're doing, so you don't have that continuity that you might have had from sort of that historical approach to work. If you're moving from company to company or different types of jobs, which is very common these days, where are you going to get that continuity? And one of the best places, I believe, for that is within professional societies. And for us, as part of Informs, this is our home. This is where you're going to find that continuity in career, where you can grow and help others grow in this profession that we call home. Right. And so my advice to this early career practitioners, junior faculty, graduate students is to figure out, well, first of all, what is your vision of leadership? What does it mean to you? And then look around the Informs community and find people who exude that particular characteristic. Now, it might be you're a transportation logistics expert, and that's the area that you love. Well, join that society within Informs and find people there. Maybe you've really enjoyed a brilliant presentation by Radhika Kulkarni, and you want to go and understand how did she become such a great and natural speaker. Well, talk to her about that particular skill set. And that's the way, first of all, you create a sense of community for yourself. There's awareness of you, and all of a sudden these leaders and more senior leaders within the community get to know who you are, that you have an interest, that you're engaged, and you'll find a richer experience, but really this engine to help guide your own career.
That's great. And I love that you even just pointed out, asking Radhika about public speaking. It's not just the career path. How are you this good? It's, the little things. I really do like that. Do you think finding a mentor is just all luck? I happened to be in this talk and met this person over coffee, or or do you think there are any steps or other actions besides just attending these events that these people who are looking for mentors can take?
Well, again, it's first understanding your own vision of where you want to go. What are your leadership, goals, and where are you headed? And then also your interests, right? Find those affinity groups for your interests. So you have the skills you're looking to develop and the interests and expertise you're looking to expand. And then start paying attention. Who's posting on LinkedIn? Are you connected with them? Ask them for a conversation. Ask a friend if they've seen anybody lately who's given a really great presentation or has a depth of expertise in an area that you'd like to learn more on. I think it has to be a lot more active than necessarily. Luck is great, right?
Yeah,
that happens.
It does happen a lot. I feel like a lot of times when I ask people about mentors or someone that really guided their career, it was, oh well, it happened to be my advisor. I got so lucky, or someone that. So it's good to know that there are actions you can take.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that person's advisor probably came because they had a shared interest in something, and so they wound up together.
Yeah.
And yes, you may attribute it to luck, but I think you can also have an active pursuit. But don't assume that somebody will become your mentor. I will say I get a lot of emails, say, from people asking if I will mentor them. And, the first is getting to know somebody, and you really do need to have a strong, some kind of relationship between. And then it really is the responsibility of the mentee to ensure that relationship continues to thrive.
You said you have a lot of people ask it. Do people actually just say to you, will you be my mentor?
Yes.
So do you think there's levels of mentorship though? If somebody emailed you and had a very specific question about something that you've done, like I would love to hear about XYZ, you could participate that way, but it would not be necessarily like a long-lasting relationship.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're absolutely right. So people reach out and said, I saw this presentation, or I'd like to know more about this, or could we have a conversation about this? I get those all the time as well, and those I'm more likely to action. For someone that I might not know who sends me a note and says, will you be my mentor in supply chain?
Right.
It's not quite the right approach.
Right.
You really do want to establish a relationship with somebody, make sure that they are indeed the expert that you think they are in that particular skill, and then hopefully it will blossom over time.
Yeah. So would you say to start there, with, like you said, start some very specific, ask that question, and maybe a relationship.
Or shake somebody's hand, invite them for a coffee, have a conversation, ask a couple of questions, and then go from there.
And especially at the meetings, all the Informs members are very nice.
Yes.
No one's gonna, shoo you away just by introducing yourself.
Well, I actually think it's a professional responsibility that anybody's been here for a while, offer that to anybody new, and I don't even mean junior, right? It's somebody new to the Informs community needs to take advantage.
Yeah. So how have you and how can the early career professionals foster these relationships as time goes on? They found someone that they've clicked with, and you did say that it's sort of the mentee's responsibility to keep it going. So how?
I think it's by actively setting up those follow-on discussions, whether it's a conversation and coffee over Zoom, whether it's sharing of information back and forth, just ways to actively ask questions, suggest at the next meeting or next opportunity where they can see each other face-to-face to sit down and have 15 minutes. And, as that relationship grows over time, you'll find maybe somebody will send you an article and said, I was thinking of you, I saw this, and shared it with them. The one interesting thing that I found, too, is many of the people that I turned to for advice early in my career, as we've now become more like peers, have turned to me for advice as they've progressed into the next step. So it's what goes around comes around, I guess.
There's a lot of good advice. Do you have any final thoughts on?
My final thought would be to get involved. You may not even know where to begin. You don't know what that first step can be. Show up, raise your hand, ask the question. The worst thing that can happen is someone can say no.
Right.
And that's a risk you need to put on yourself, because your success is in those relationship buildings. You are the biggest hindrance to that moving forward to that success happening. So join the society, raise your hand, volunteer next to your, ORMS idol, and you never know what can happen. You might form some of the deepest relationships of your career.
Thank you very much, Anne.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.